Hey guys, and welcome back to the Koji Living Podcast. So, today was a good day for us because we got our new resident cards, which essentially means it solidifies our stay in Japan for one more year. Unfortunately, we didn't get approved for the 3 year request like we had originally planned for, or not planned but had requested. But needless to say, and regardless of everything else, we are very happy and grateful for the opportunity for us to continue our journey here in Japan. So, no complaints. So, for those of you who are new to Japan or going to be moving to Japan, they have what they call residence card or a Zayu card. And basically, what that is a validation of your visa for your stay in Japan. So, because ours is 1 year, basically has all of our information, our address, and the validity of the visa. So, it says 1 year and an expiration date. And you're supposed to carry that card with you at all times because if you are stopped by the police or any important government official, you're supposed to be able to provide that to them to show that you do have, in fact, legal permission to be in the country for a longer period of stay. And I believe it gives you a lot of information regarding what you can do as far as work. I think the Zayu card is like one of 5 cards that generally people in Japan carry. I think the first and foremost is a Zayu card. Everybody has one of those. There's the health insurance card. Some people have driver's licenses. Some people have my number cards, which is essentially the equivalent to an American Social Security card. And I think almost all of us, if not a lot of people, have a Hanko or Incon authorization card, which basically is a card given from the government to say that your CO, your personal CO, is registered with the city. Which, in like viewing all of this compared to like the US, is pretty crazy because I think in the United States, I have my driver's license, I have my social security card, health insurance. Actually, no, there's pretty much the same. Now that I'm counting it out, it sounds pretty much the same. But the difference is a lot of these cards issued by the Japanese government can be used as actual forms of identification, which is pretty awesome because now I have 5 forms of ID that I can present anywhere. Going back to the validity of our visas, we had originally applied for a 3 year extension, which honestly, ideally would have been really great, but again, it just wasn't in the cards this time. And to be fair, we were warned from the very beginning that the likelihood of longer term visas being approved when it's your own company, a self sponsor, it can be difficult because there's no real track history with you personally and, of course, the business. So we are aware that the first 1, 2, or 3 times it may only be year periods, which again we are super grateful for. Just a little bit disappointed with the fact that we're gonna have to do all of this again next year, but it is what it is, and again, super grateful just to be in the country. But of course, with all of that being said, it kind of made me wonder like what the criteria is for people to get these approvals for like 3, 5 years, etc. approved. Because like I consider my brother and I to be pretty stable people as far as like our life in Japan. Because we generate enough money through our savings and our investments to cover our expenses and to have fun. We have jobs. Our company generates income. We own our own business here. We live in a family home that doesn't have any monthly payments. We really have more than enough to cover our overhead. And so it kind of makes you wonder like what are they really looking for? Is it just the term of time that you've been in Japan? Is it really just a factual statistical thing? Because that's just something I'm very curious about. But, if I figure it out or find out one day, then I'll share it with all of you. But that's just a thought that I had because, in the overall scheme of things, I do consider my brother and I relatively stable to be here. We're more than okay. But it is what it is. It's just a thought that I had and wanted to share. Another interesting fact or tad bit of information that came up today is I didn't really read the new residence card or Zayu card when we got it. I kind of just was like, "Hey, we got it, great." And then I looked on the back, and on our original residence card, they had to stamp our town name and our address on the back to prove where we lived. And so when I looked at the back of our new card, there was no stamp there. And I told my brother, oh, well, we probably got to go get the stamp from the town hall in where we live because that's what we had to do for our first one. And a lot of people kept asking for the back of the card. So I figured it was something important. And he decided that after we picked up the cards, we would go to the town hall to do it and just get it out of the way so that we didn't have to do this anymore. Just get everything done today and be done with it, basically. So I got to the town hall, I took a number, and I was sitting down waiting for the receptionist lady to help me. And I put out my Google Translate and I explained to her that I'm here to update our residence card because it had expired, we got new ones, and now we need the stamp of our address on the back. And she's looking at me like I'm the biggest fool on earth. And I asked her, is something wrong? And then she asked me if I changed address, and I told her, no, we didn't move. This is our home, and I just need to make sure that it's stamped on the back so that, there's no issues with anybody. And she kept looking at me like, what's going on? And then another lady came and she told me, you already have your address on the front of the card. Why do you need your address on the back? So, needless to say, I probably started turning red because it was my fault. I did not look at the front of the card well. So, pro tip for those of you who are newer to Japan and have just renewed your Zayu card, the address is on the front. Unless you've moved within that time, you don't have to do anything because it's already printed there. So, save yourself the embarrassment that I went through and just know that it is there and there's nothing you need to do as far as that goes. So, needless to say, I packed up my stuff, bowed a few times, and told them so sorry for wasting their time because I felt like a fool. And I went about three windows down to the My Number card booth to renew our My Number cards because those I know we needed to renew because they are linked to the expiration date of our current residence cards. So I got there and I explained to the lady what I'm doing, and it was very smooth procedure. The lady actually spoke English, so it was done within like 15 minutes, I think. The only caveat or the only negative part of that experience was that they required a picture, and the only picture that I had with me at the time was one that I had taken in Hawaii, and I think I just had woken up or something because this picture was probably one of the worst, if not the worst picture of myself I've ever taken. And unfortunately, that's going to be my number card for the next year. So next year I have to take a photo shoot to make sure, I have good pictures because God forbid somebody asks me for that. They're going to look twice at that picture and be like, are you sure this is you? Might have to deny it or something. I don't know. But reluctantly, we did the paperwork. They sealed it, submitted it, and it was all good to go. And lo and behold, 5 minutes later, I'm looking through my wallet, and I actually had another picture that I had taken for the visa renewal, and I could have used that. Yeah. So when I asked the lady if it was too late, she looked at me and she's like, "Yeah, we already sent it. Sorry." So it is what it is. 1 year of ugly pictures. I guess it won't kill me. So yeah. So that would be like another pro tip, I guess, for you guys moving to Japan or currently living in Japan. Carry passport size photos of yourself that are photos that you're okay with and you'll be fine with being on stuff you have to show people because I've been asked for a photo of myself more times than I have ever been asked anywhere else. So just that's a really good tad bit of information to know. I know that a lot of places that are drugstores have like a little kiosk outside, and they're very simple to use, and they will email you the picture so you can have a digital copy, if you need that. And it's so much easier to do it that way than actually carrying like a physical copy. So I would just suggest doing that if you have the time. But today we had put aside about 6 hours of time just in case, we had to do paperwork or it took longer. But pleasantly, it was far shorter than that. I think at max we spent 45 minutes to an hour getting our residence cards, but that we really just had to sit and wait. And at the town hall, it was maybe 15 minutes max. So it was a really good day. So the rest of the day, I'm pretty much just cleaning our house because when we were gone, the puppies decided to destroy some things and just make a real big mess. But then this brings me to our future again, because now that everything is solidified and our visas are for sure renewed and we have new residence cards, it's like, okay, we can focus on the future and the aspirations, benchmarks, all the goals that we have set for ourselves, which is really nice because, like I said, the last couple months we've been in this holding pattern, not knowing whether or not we're going to be able to stay in Japan or have to go back to Hawaii. So now we can really, really start hitting the ground again and focusing on what we're planning to do with our company and all of these videos and podcasts. So it's kind of nice to be able to breathe a little bit of fresh air and hit the ground running, like I said. And then I go back to the fact that I'm so thankful to all of you who are actually subscribed to our channel and do listen to our podcast, watch our videos, like, comment, all of that stuff. It's really, honestly, it's really hard being a creator for any type of media. So when we do have those interactions, even in the negative ones, it's a really impactful thing for us because it shows that people are taking the time to at least watch our stuff. Because when we first started, having zero views for days on end is a pretty disappointing thing altogether. And it can be very demoralizing for a lot of people. And then the questions start piling up like, is this worth it? We deal with that on a day-to-day basis still because some of the stuff that we put so much time and effort into, we get so little views, and the things we slap together last minute end up get thousands of views, and it's just very confusing. But again, overall, we are very thankful to all of you who are part of us or part of this journey with us, and we're so excited now to be able to like really focus on what we want to get done. The crazy thing for us in the past year in Japan has just been wild. Like I said in our previous messages, like we've gone through a lot in such a short period of time. And there's been self-realization, there's been actual disaster, there's been a lot of moving, constant change, and there hasn't been a period in time since we moved to Japan where we could really sit down and focus on our goals. And so now that we're kind of in this place, I'm going to knock on wood right now because I don't want to jinx this. But now we're at a point where we can really focus on our original goal, which is exploring Japan, sharing our experiences with you, and discovering more of what the country has to offer. Because there's so much more than just Tokyo. There's so much more than just Sapporo. It's these little towns that we find on our way driving around Hokkaido. We always find like a little shop or restaurant that is just amazing, and sometimes we're blessed enough to be able to speak to the shopkeeper, and they'll tell us their story about where they came from, how they started, and it's truly an amazing experience. And being able to share that with a lot of people is something that we really look forward to, and it kind of helps perpetuate the person. For example, back in Saitama, there was this temple we went to. I honestly can't remember the name, but it's in one of our videos. And we met this old shopkeeper named Sato-san, and she was so amazing. She told us the story that her shop is the second oldest thing on the mountain, the first being the temple, and how before people used to be there all the time, how they're surviving through COVID. It was such a beautiful story to listen to. And she also was serving us ramen and pickled daikon, which is one of my favorites. And it was such a great experience, and something that I think a lot of people, when they only go through like tour guides or they only go to the big cities and stuff like that, you'll miss out on this authentic opportunity of somebody's story. And it really helps you understand better about yourself and the world when you can hear these stories, hear the origin of people. You truly learn to appreciate that there's so much more. There are people out there that can just enrich your life within like 5 minutes, because I think we were only there for like 20 minutes of her time, and it was such a beautiful moment that if we have the opportunity to visit her again, I'm definitely going to. But yeah, that's kind of like the whole point we started this channel. And it was actually kind of nice because I was talking to my auntie earlier today, and she pointed out a fact that learning one's identity is very important, and sometimes something that people just don't really do very quickly, or if not ever. And I've learned that it's so important to know who I am as a person and where I stand in the world. Because, like I said, coming to Japan made me realize that I'm really not Japanese. I need to learn how to be Japanese because I'm living in this country, but I also don't want to lose who I am. So I have to try to find a way to become part of that culture, yet bridge the gap between that and myself. So it's a learning curve, and we're going to get there, you know? Also, I do have to apologize if the background, if you hear like a whining sound. Our neighbor next door, they live in Osaka, but I guess this is like their vacation house. They're visiting for about a week, which is really nice because now our neighborhood is not so dead. I think there's only like 3 people that really live on our street, and there are like 7 homes. So it's nice to have them actually here and doing stuff at their house. So I don't want to like close the window because it's a really nice day today as well. So I apologize if you can hear it in the background. It's pretty loud. In any case, today was a good day. Like every other day so far. I've been pretty happy. But today was definitely a really good day because it gave us that peace of mind, knowing that it is done for now. You granted again, we have to do it in a year, but for now, we have that breathing room. And the good thing is, they gave us the renewal from today. So it wasn't like, oh, they submitted their paperwork back in March. They have till March to renew. No, thank God, today is the day that we have to renew. So next year, it's going to be May versus March. So that also gives us a little bit of reassurance because it's actually a full year of time to prepare and all that stuff. And within that year, I should say, I hope that we do enough to prove to the government, I guess, that we're more than qualified for a longer term. So that's the goal, is to build our company bigger, stronger, so that when we apply next year, they're like, yeah, these guys get to stay longer. In any case, I just wanted to give you guys an update of what happened today. I've started making a list of things that I want to talk to you guys all about through the podcast. And yeah, I'm working on like a outline of what to discuss because my process is I don't script these things out. I kind of just wing it, but I do give myself like little benchmarks so I don't lose myself because sometimes I go off on these tangents and it goes from a 7 to 15 minute podcast to an hour, and I don't want to do that because that's just too much time. I'll probably lose my voice at the end of the day if I continue doing that. But yeah, so I'm working on it, and you can expect more content, probably a little bit more regularly, because I'm kind of getting into the groove of things. But like I said, for those of you who are new, and maybe those of you who have listened and didn't catch this, I don't really edit these. Like I add like a sound in the background just to have something nice other than my voice. But I kind of just try to keep it as authentic and natural as possible. And so I do apologize if there's like a lot of weird things or sniffling or whatever. I'm not going to edit it out because this is who I am. This is how you would talk to me normally. So I'm going to keep it that way for now. But yeah, so you can expect some more regular, consistent content, I think, soon, like in the next week or so. But until then, thanks for coming by. Thank you again for those of you who take the time to listen to our podcast and our videos. It's super, truly appreciative. And I'm beyond grateful for everything that you guys do for us. So thank you, and until the next one, talk to you guys later.